Hey guys, we're your hosts, Jess,
And vanilla.
and this is Cosy Crime Club. Each episode, we explore real cases from the eerie to the outrageous with curiosity, empathy, and just the right amount of dark humour. So pour yourself a big mug of something warm, tea, coffee, or maybe something a little stronger, grab a blanket, and settle in. Welcome to the club. We're on episode 4.
Episode 4, guys.
Go us.
And we've got a fun one tonight.
A fun one. I'm so excited.
I think so. I'm giving this... Okay, I don't want to speak before. I don't want to count my chickens. I'll let you be the judge of that.
Okay.
But
I'll judge. I'll judge.
Oh, yes, please do. And also, what are you drinking tonight?
I have 2 drinks, actually.
Jess, how hydrated do you want to be?
Look,
What's the bar?
I think I've had 1 glass of water today, so it's required.
That's really bad.
I know. I was so busy.
Your scales are not balanced. What's in this cup? Can you tell me what's going on? That looks like tea.
This is not tea. This is just plain old filtered water, actually. And this is, that's my raspberry mineral water. It's sparkling. It is Sparkle City.
Nice. I love that. I've just got this guy again.
Oh, I love this guy.
It's just a rooibos tea. There's not much to say about it.
Vanilla, what have you got for us tonight?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe strongly, all 3 cases so far have been Australian.
You are correct.
Well, tonight, we're going international.
Oh, look at us. I am so excited, Fenella. What have you got for us? Where are we going? Where are we headed?
Well, tonight I'm taking you to Paris. So settle in and get ready for a story based in the city of love. We are in Paris in the 80s. The city of love is a vibrant place to be. There's some political and economical shifting, which always has a spillover effect onto the populace. So Paris and its residents were feeling quite optimistic at this time in the wake of their first socialist president having taken office in 1981. There was a sense that real change was on the horizon. Mixed in with this sense of positivity and hope were economic challenges, though. It was becoming more and more expensive to live in the city, particularly for the youth and for students. There was a lot of discourse around issues that actually feel very current today, not just in France, but around the world. We're talking immigration, developing technology, and an overall disenchantment with governing bodies. This frenetic energy in the early 80s culminated in protests and public disapproval of political intent. As is often the way, though, when there are times of political and economical unrest, the people, they like to party, de-stress, and impress. And there was a lot of that going on in Paris in the 80s. International icons and prominent figures in the music and art scenes would often be seen flitting around the city, not unlike today. All the celebrity, art, and music was beautifully complemented by the romantic architecture and bright lights that have come to be synonymous with Paris. Juxtaposed against the economic and political unrest, the romance of it all overwhelmed the negative for many. As we arrive in 1986, conditions were absolutely ripe for outlandish and unexpected behavior. Though maybe nobody quite knew what was coming, except, perhaps, a man named Michel Vaujour. Born in France on 16th of January 1951, Michel is said to have had a difficult childhood. He experienced early abandonment and hardship without a reliable guiding figure and no real family. He was largely left to his own devices and his own sense of judgment, good or bad. At just 19 years old, in a classic fit of teenage nonsense, Michel stole a car because he wanted to go out dancing and didn't have transport to get from A to B. He ended up being caught by the police, though, and was promptly arrested, leading to his first stint in prison. He was sentenced to 2.5 years in the lockup at just 19. Now, according to Michel, this whole experience was yet another injustice in a string of those that he had already experienced in his young life. And it had quite an effect on his psyche. Not in the straighten up and fly right sense, but more in the villain origin story sense. He shunned societal and structural norms and obligations, choosing a career in high risk, high reward criminality instead. Michel was developing quite a name for himself. He was robbing banks and laughing about it. But while Michel was determined to live a life of crime, he wasn't particularly good at it in the sense that he ended up getting caught a lot. And not just caught, but imprisoned. Throughout his 20s and 30s, he was jailed a few times for armed robbery, among other things. So not a huge success story so far. However, what Michel was undeniably skilled at was escape. He racked up 4 jailbreaks before we even get to the events of 1986. Suffice to say, Michel was well and truly a criminal by trade, and therefore he did not view criminal sentences as binding, but more like a challenge and an invitation to kind of wriggle out of there by any means necessary. So along his escapades through the early to mid-80s, our scoundrel Michel had met a young woman named Nadine, a beautiful brunette who accepted him radically as he was. She knew about his tragic past, his life of crime in the intervening years, and she loved him madly for it all. The couple went on to marry. Michel had found his ride or die, and they excitedly set about starting their lives together. But in 1985, their paths would diverge, if only momentarily. Michel found himself back behind bars in La Santé prison in Paris, having been tried and found guilty of robbing a bank and attempted murder. His punishment was set to be 18 years in prison. La Santé prison wasn't just a building, it was a statement. Wedged into the dense streets of Paris, its high grey walls seemed to absorb the light, turning the air around a shade darker. Built in the mid-19th century, the prison had seen everyone from pickpockets to political radicals pass through its gates. Inside the place was a fortress within a fortress. Narrow corridors snaked between rows of cells, each one barely big enough to stretch your arms. The prison was divided into wings. Yet no matter where you were placed, the rules were the same. The guards ran the show, and the walls never let you forget where you were.
Just rewind a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
So you said Michel was at this prison for attempted murder?
So this is not the focus of the story.
Okay.
This is just context.
I'm going on a side plot here.
You are a little bit. Basically, he was just doing his usual thing. He was just robbing banks.
So he's there. We're in this prison with all of the wings and rules.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Lots of wings, lots of rules, high walls. But for a man like Michel, whose mind was already churning with escape plans, those walls weren't a deterrent. They were a challenge. Every patrol pattern, every blind spot, every rattling key on a guard's belt, it was all data for his next great gamble. Enter Nadine.
Oh, Nadine.
Nadine, our
Okay.
girl. Yes, indeed. So, being well acquainted with her husband's criminal passions, Nadine was not turned away in the slightest by this development in her marriage. Quite the contrary. She was committed, she was invested, and she was determined. Michel had a grand history of jailbreak, and his wife was about to help him add to that tapestry. Nadine, who referred to Michel as the love of her life, she got busy. She wasn't moping about at home, missing a man. Instead, she filled her time with activities. One of the activities, especially eating into her free time, was flying lessons. Keen to obtain her helicopter pilot license, she had signed up STAT to kickstart the journey to full qualification. She soon acquired the license. Her next course of action was to log as many hours of practice as she could. In order to practice piloting helicopters and put her shiny new license to good use, Nadine became a familiar face at a helicopter rental company in the south of Paris. And she would make sure to get in a good piloting session every couple of weeks, which actually set her back a few $100s per hour, but Nadine paid every penny. During this time, Nadine maintained contact with her bungling beloved as they kept each other up to date while their lives were separated. Meanwhile, back in prison, Michel had become friends with another inmate named Pierre. Also imprisoned on robbery charges, Pierre and Michel bonded, and soon they were spending every opportune moment scouting the prison grounds and taking note of guard movements and timetables. After months of planning, scouting, and returning to the drawing board to revise, Michel and Pierre finally settled on the grand plan. And as 10:30, May 26, 1986 rolled around, a white helicopter snaked through the crisp morning air above the city of love, approaching none other than La Santé prison. Nadine was at the controls.
Yes, she was. Go, Nadine.
She was.
Why am I just, like, what's the word? Championing these criminals. I'm fully on their side right now.
Who is not a champion of Nadine?
Yeah.
I mean...
Yes, Nadine. I am so here for it.
Yeah, we're here for Nadine.
Little cheerleader over here.
Nadine's number one cheerleader.
Yeah. I'm just like, I'm on the edge of my seat. This is so cool.
She has that effect on people. From the ground, a faint hum began as little more than a nuisance. A few guards on the yard looked up just instinctively, but a helicopter wasn't unheard of over Paris, and so at first there wasn't much attention paid to it. Shortly, though, it became clear that the aircraft was flying lower than usual, with no indication that it would rise anytime soon. As the helicopter grew closer to the prison, warnings were radioed out to it, advising the pilot to retreat and to raise the aircraft back to legal altitude. But, steadfast, eye on the prize, Nadine continued her descent. Meanwhile, within the prison walls, something wholly unexpected was occurring. Internal radios were reporting a disturbance caused by 2 inmates who were wielding hand grenades as weapons.
What?
It was hand grenades.
This is chaos.
This is utter chaos. No one knows where to look. Things are going on outside. Things are going on inside. What's happening?
Wow. Would love to be a fly on the wall there.
Would love that. All we have is this tale. It was Michel and Pierre brandishing grenades, of which it appeared they'd managed to smuggle in quite a number. They had like a bag full of hand grenades, and they were just like pulling one out every now and then and wielding it.
I was about to say, like, where in the world did they get hand grenades thinking, okay, they're clearly fake. They've just made them look real, but they're like legit grenades.
They legit have hand grenades, as far as we know.
So wild.
Yeah, absolutely wild. Don't know what's going on in Paris, but things are popping off.
Can acquire a hand grenade through prison. Easy as pie.
Yeah, exactly. This is old news. So the 2 men were threatening detonation if anyone tried to come near them or apprehend them. Slowly but surely, the pair began to move in the direction of the roof. Every now and then, they would pause to threaten a guard or 2 with their grenades, and then they would continue their path upwards. Terrified by the threat of bombs within the prison walls, the guards allowed the men to pass by once they realized that they were holding grenades. They had to consider not only their own safety, but the safety of the other inmates, as well as the residents of Paris. They couldn't risk damage to a person or to the prison itself. Even shooting from afar could be too risky. And so, soon, Michel and Pierre made it to the roof. And Nadine, in all her pilot glory, was waiting for them. With guards in hot pursuit, Michel raced towards the aircraft and managed to swing himself on board. Pierre was not so fortunate. Some say that he changed his mind at the last moment and chose instead to surrender to the guards. And then others say that he just didn't make it in time to the helicopter. But regardless, Michel found himself in good company with his beautiful wife, taking to the skies of Paris, up, up, and away.
Bye, Pierre.
Bye, Pierre. Yeah,
See
see
ya.
you later. Thanks for all your help.
Yeah, thanks for your help, but
Yeah.
we're just off now.
Literally, yeah. That's all there is to it. Now, with Michel gone and the adventure at the prison winding down, the guards soon realized they'd been hoodwinked. There were no hand grenades.
There were not hand grenades.
Plot twist. There were no hand grenades. What there were instead of hand grenades.
Okay, let me guess. Can I guess?
Yeah, guess, please.
Okay. If it were me and I had to fake a hand grenade.
Oh my god, what the heck would you do?
Okay, I'm thinking like a fruit, like an orange or possibly a kiwi fruit, because I feel like the kiwi fruit kind of has a shape somewhat, and then you could like etch into like all the details and then like paint it and just be like, this is an actual grenade, get out of my way.
Ding, ding, ding.
Was that right?
You're
Would I be
right.
an actual like criminal
You
mastermind?
could actually escape from La Santé prison. You are going with me if I get locked up.
Okay.
Because
Partners in crime.
that's exactly what they did. It wasn't
Wasn't a kiwi.
It wasn't kiwi fruit. It was
Orange?
nectarines.
Oh,
So they'd nicked a bunch of nectarines.
The old nectarines.
Good old nectarines, from which clearly are the wrong color, but they'd nicked some nectarines from the cafeteria and they painted them.
Oh my God.
And obscured them just enough with their hands as they were brandishing them so that they could be mistaken for grenades in the confusion of the moment.
Wow.
So yes, you would have been on that chopper.
I would have been out.
You would have been gone burger.
Well, you wouldn't have been Pierre, let me tell you that. I would never leave you behind.
Well,
I think you would have been
God.
Nadine. I think you would 100% have been
I was going to say, I have a feeling that you would get locked up and need me to come save you.
Yeah. It would go down like that.
Can you imagine? Oh my God.
Well, we just proved we would be successful. I would.
That's true.
Have the grenades. Mm-hmm.
Well, you proved you would be successful.
I have faith in you. You
I
would be
didn't
able
prove
to get
anything.
your...
I'm just like supporting you. I'm your cheerleader.
You would definitely be able to acquire a...
nectarine?
No, a license to fly an aircraft. You would.
Oh, 100%. Like...
I have all the faith in you.
Anything like that, I'm so down. I love to navigate. Anyway, enough about us and our future.
Wow, so they were hoodwinked.
Hoodwinked, just like that. They were pissed off. I can tell you that much.
So embarrassing.
Yeah, I would not have wanted to be the guards that day. Regardless, Michel had escaped prison for the 5th time. Landing on a nearby sports field, the couple disembarked the helicopter and hurried into a waiting getaway car and departed the scene. A countrywide manhunt was launched for the pair, but weeks and then months slipped by without any luck for the police. Until a few months later, when the police were called out to a robbery in the suburbs of Paris. Upon investigating, they were surprised to find none other than Michel Vaujour himself as the responsible party.
Oh, he's really bad at getting caught.
That's the thing. That's like his, I don't know if it's his Achilles heel or if it's his gift. Like he's really good at getting caught.
Because he really wants to escape, I think.
Maybe. It might all just come back to that. It's like, gotta lock me up. Houdini. I'm getting Houdini vibes. Yeah. So it kind of seems like the couple never actually fled the city or that they had recently returned. But either way, Michel was caught red-handed. But he refused to go peacefully. And this refusal escalated into a shootout with the police, during which Michel got shot in the head.
What?
But don't worry. Don't panic. He survived. And he lived to tell the tale. So Michel's all good. But yes, he did sustain an injury.
Or just an injury, just like an absolute
Well, I mean, he got shot in the head, so it's kind of a major deal. He was all right in the end. Now, Nadine was found and arrested shortly after, and they were both sentenced for their crimes. Michel received an additional 17 years to the 18 that he was originally in for. And Nadine was sentenced just for her role in the helicopter jailbreak, so she didn't get quite as much time as Michel. Nadine served her time and since then has lived a quiet life away from the public, fiercely protective of her privacy. So much so that there's scarcely any information to be found out about her. And I kind of reckon fair enough. Like, after all that adventure and notoriety, ending in a prison sentence, fair enough. Lay low and just live your life, babe. Michel, on the other hand, he found himself in a high security prison. And while he didn't escape from there, that doesn't mean that he didn't try. He made a sixth and, as far as we know, final attempt to escape the confines of the law. He and Nadine had parted ways since the events that we discussed.
Wow, you would think that of all things, people that are going to stay together forever, it is, that they broke you out of prison. That's another shock, okay? I did not expect them to be breaking up.
No, major curveball. But also, like, for Nadine, she didn't regret anything, just in case, she just in case you're wondering. She didn't regret anything. He was the love of her life in that chapter. And she said she would do it all again in a heartbeat. So she's quite happy with how things went. But yes, he's looking down the barrel of a long, long time in prison, and she wasn't. So
Nadine,
it's not really that much you can do. Yeah. Meanwhile, Michel, the old rascal, he'd gotten to know another young woman named Jamila. And she was a law student who would write to him often. So she wasn't in prison with him, but they were in contact like pen pals. Now, Michel had lost Nadine and all hope of freedom when he saw a new opportunity. Perhaps Jamila could help him break out once more, and he could finally truly be free. And so, Michel and Jamila began to plot. However, their plotting and planning, it didn't pan out. They were foiled. Jamila actually ended up serving a 7-year prison sentence for her part in organizing to break him out.
I was going to say, how on earth do you organize a breaking out of prison? Because as far as I'm aware from movies, your letters are read, your phone calls are listened to, right? So that seems like an impossible feat.
Yes, no, I totally agree. And I was thinking he was just cocky about the whole thing. He's escaped so many times. Like, they didn't stop me then. They're not going to stop me now. But I feel like most other people would maybe think it's time to lay low. It's time to not be discussing escape for a good while. But no, he was just eye on the target, freedom.
Yeah.
However, nothing could surpass the incredible escape helmed by Nadine. So Michel did end up serving his 27 years in prison before his release eventually in 2003, aged 52. Following his release, he seems to have lived a relatively quiet life too. He took up the hobby of writing and in 2018 published a book titled Love Saved Me from Sinking, which covers his life story. The book isn't widely available, so I wasn't able to snag a copy of it, but Michel sums up the book with this quote. He says, "Sometimes a wound from childhood can change the course of your life. It dragged me into an infernal spiral, robberies, and many times on the run. 27 years in prison and 5 jailbreaks. And then, when I thought I was dying, love saved me from sinking." And that's where we leave Michel. Until perhaps his next big adventure.
We will feature it here.
Yeah, we will for sure. Oh my gosh. Updates on Michel. I want an update on Nadine, but she's hiding, I think.
Yes, that's fair. That's fair. Wow, Fenella, this has been the best crime story. I have never heard this story before. Although, I'm just getting like, was there footage of a helicopter? Or
so I actually discovered this case. I sent you, like an idiot. I sent you a little thing on Instagram. I was just like, never bring it up again and she'll forget.
I mean, I 100% forgot until this very moment
Good.
where I'm like, hang on, have I seen a picture of a helicopter above a prison? And in saying that, if anyone doesn't know, Fenella and I, we don't let each other know what we're coming to this recording with. So Fenella's trying to keep it on the down low, and you did really well. I mean, I didn't
Thank
search
you.
anything and I didn't remember that picture until right now.
I'm so glad you actually didn't remember.
I definitely needed a seatbelt. That had some twists and turns.
Yeah.
True crime is really difficult to listen to if you're a fan, and you know, sometimes it gets a bit heavy, a bit too much. That was
Yeah.
really nice, Fenella. Like, that was a
Thank
hilarious story. I can't believe I got the grenades right. What?
You are a
Mastermind.
genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would survive in prison. It's official.
Yeah, no. You would simply break out.
Yeah.
You'd be gone. Yeah.
Gone. I love it. Thank you for taking us there, Fenella.
Thanks for
I
coming with
needed
me.
that. Has there been a movie made about this?
There was actually a movie. I believe it was 1991. There was a movie made. It's a French movie, French story, but the title of it translates to The Daughter of the Air.
Oh.
Yes. If anyone out there wants to check it out,
I'm interested. I'm 100% watching that.
tell us what you think, guys.
Leave us some cozy comments.
Tell me what you think about Michel, because he's a bit of a philanderer, I feel. He keeps falling in love, getting women in prison, tying them into his escape plans, and then they get stung for it. What do you think about that? How would you escape from prison? Would you be after them nectarines?
Well, guys, thanks for getting cozy with us today. If you enjoyed this episode, leave us a review, share the club with a friend, or comment below. You can join us on YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and stay cozy.